when you hear scientists talk about decreased survival, decreased cub survival, declining populations, it's often this exact piece of it that we're talking about. It's energetics or lack of energy negatively impacting the success of moms. And that can take multiple forms. It can mean mothers not being able to implant and become pregnant because they're not in good enough body condition. It can mean mothers having cubs and then failing to lactate enough to successfully bring those cubs through a full first year, and those cubs not making it in that first year of life. And what that looks like to people isn't starving bears, it's just fewer bears. Hudson Bay was probably the most reliable place anywhere in the Arctic to see triplet litters, and where triplet litters were successful into adulthood. Those disappeared here for, I want to say, 15, 16 years. They weren't seen. We have seen some triplet litters in the last 3-4 years, including one I've heard this year. I haven't seen them yet. We still haven't seen those make it to adulthood, all three.
This is a region of the Arctic where sea ice forms every year, but also melts every year. Other parts of the Arctic have sea ice year-round, but southern Hudson Bay, being quite a bit further south than other regions, has this annual cycle of sea ice freezing and melting. So since bears rely on the sea ice to hunt, they really rely on it to be around as long as possible. So we track when the sea ice melts in spring, and then we count the number of days that there is no sea ice, where the bears inevitably have to fast, and we then record it again when the sea ice comes back in the fall. What we've seen over the last 40 plus years, where we have good satellite data that monitors this region of the Arctic as well as others, is that the sea ice melts out earlier and earlier in spring and freezes later and later in the fall. It's not a new record every year, but gradually we see this trend. And actually over the last 40 plus years, this period of no sea ice in the summer, this ice-free period, has lengthened by over a month. So it's over a month of less time that the bears have to acquire food in the form of seals.
If the sea ice is also breaking up early, that female is not going to have as much time to catch young seals in that limited window in the late spring, early summer to put on enough weight to be successful, to implant or even to carry that pregnancy to term. And so she might not have the body condition to have a successful pregnancy, or she might not have enough energy on board to successfully get those cubs through the first year. So you have several kind of hurdles for these moms in a changing, warming climate.